Hey y'all, Iric Sky here, and I want to talk about the Rep Fitness PR-4000 assembly process. Now, if you're planning to do this by yourself, and I did engage my wife for one step, and we're gonna talk through this. But if you're planning to build it by yourself, even if you're super strong, you may find it to be a little bit challenging. And it's not necessarily whether or not you can hold the weight up as you're building it, but it could be that you don't want to. I mean, these are very well made uprights. They're painted, they look nice. You may not want to scoot them around on the floor too much and risk, something dirty on your floor, rocks or whatever, scratching up the paint job. If you're real nitpicky like that, it would definitely be optimal if you had two people. Now, just to talk through the assembly process, and you can download Rep Fitness assembly instructions. They were very straightforward, and I would definitely encourage you to follow those instructions. But I'm going to explain what I did and what made it really easy for me. So the first thing I did, these uprights. So I went with a 6-post PR-4000 rack. You may have just gone with a 4, but I went with a 6 for the reason that I didn't want to have to bolt it down to my concrete slab. And this is super sturdy, especially since I've added the Lat Pull-Down option with the rear base stabilizer. It's super sturdy, and it doesn't move around, and there's nothing that makes me afraid while I'm working out. I mean, this is a top quality piece of professional gym equipment. So what I did, I cleaned my floor, made sure there wasn't stuff that was gonna potentially scratch my hardware. And then I built out, so I laid these side by side. Pay attention to the bottom part, because if you do bolt it down, the little 2 holes in the bottom of each of these, the 2 holes that are on the ground, those should face out. So on this side, they're facing towards the camera, and then on this side over here, they're facing towards this side. So if you were to bolt it down, that's where it would go. But make sure when you build this that this side, the 2 little holes are facing that way, and then this side, the 2 little holes on each upright's facing that way. That's super important. So with that being said, what I did, I laid 1, 2, 3. I laid these 3 posts, they call them the uprights, I laid them down with the holy side facing up. So everything was properly aligned. And then what I did, I took what they call the cross members. So this right here is the back part. I've got this cross member and then one at the bottom. I put these together. And I didn't tighten the bolts all the way. I put everything together just loosely, and then I moved over here. I did this cross member and this cross member, same thing. Didn't put them together tightly. Once I had them all in, I made sure everything was properly aligned, and then I tightened everything down properly. You could use the tools or they call them the spanners. I think that's kind of a European thing, but you could use the little wrenches that come with the kit. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend a proper wrench and a proper socket set. It's going to make your life so much easier. So I assembled this entire thing. So once I had this assembled, then what I did the same thing with the other side. Assembled it. Once I had both sides assembled, and this is where you're really going to need that second person if you've got access to them, you're going to need to one of these is going to need to stand up, because then what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to put, see up there the black cross member that goes across, you're going to have to put that in to connect each side. And then you've also got the rear base stabilizer. But what I did this cross member, and then and you may have a different option, but I did just the basic pull-up bar here. So I put it in. So then you've got, this is properly spaced out. You can then do if you get it, which I highly recommend, the Lat Pull-Down accessory, the cable accessory, whatever you want to call it, because then you've got to install what's called the rear base stabilizer, which is here. Now, I made a mistake the first time assembling this. I put the rear base stabilizer out here. and that's not recommended. You need to put your rear base stabilizer right here, and that's, you can see that's where it is. It's right between this area. Now, again, I went with the 6-post instead of the 4-post because of the extra rigidity. Now, could you get away with a 4-post with this rear base stabilizer and the lat pull-down accessory and not have to bolt it down? I'm not going to recommend it. This, having the 6-post, I feel confident that I'm okay without bolting it down. I didn't want to bolt it down because I don't want to drill any holes into my concrete slab and introduce the possibility of water leaking in. So that's the truth. And I want to be able to move it. If I need to shift my gym around, I don't want to have to move it and then drill more holes somewhere else. I don't want to drill any holes, personal preference. Now you can get these feet, and I didn't get them, that stick out this way for extra stability, but for what I'm doing, and again, even if I had a significant amount of weight, I don't think I would need or want those extra pieces sticking out for enhanced stability. You may, but I would look at them as kind of a trip hazard. And in my situation, when I come into the gym, see, I don't have a lot of room here, so I need to roll this in. If I had those extension feet, it would make rolling my bench around and in and out of the cage more challenging. So, you know, and then after I did the assembly, the last part I did, of course, was the assembly of the cable pull-down system. And that took some time, but basically I followed the instructions for the cable pulley system, the lat pull-down system, whatever you want to call it. Followed it to the T. It was very simple to follow the instructions. And once I had everything assembled, then what I did, of course, part of the assembly was bolting it to the top of this middle cross member, and then also bolting it to the to what they call the rear base stabilizer, this here. So it's a really straightforward assembly process. One thing I do recommend is if you've got some silicone spray, especially, well, you would, if you get this lat pull-down accessory, which I highly recommend, one thing I would highly recommend is putting some silicone spray, spraying it on the inside the pulleys, because it just makes everything. I mean, this thing is smooth, man. It is smooth as silk, dude. I mean, it's quiet. See, look at that. I apologize, I'm so out of shape. I haven't worked out since March, man. And then, like I said, 2020 got me all off kilter, you know, when they closed down the gyms everywhere in 2020. So that put a gap in my fitness progression. And then now I've got what I feel is the ultimate home gym. Again, professional quality. It was easy to assemble. You know, I'm familiar with assembling stuff. I assemble a lot of stuff, but I wouldn't consider myself to be an expert. So, you know, regardless of your experience level with do-it-yourself type projects, like assembling furniture or anything like that, this wasn't super difficult. But again, it's heavy. You know, the individual components are heavy, the individual uprights are heavy, and especially once you get all those together, it becomes really heavy, which is a good thing because you want a professional quality gym. But I would definitely encourage you to have another person to help, because propping this up, if this fell, it could cause serious injury. I mean, this is super heavy. Not only could it cause serious injury to someone, it could potentially crack your floor. It could potentially damage this, you know, scratch the paint if it fell. So, you know, definitely have that second person at least until you get these, you know, these middle parts put up. You know, once you got that, the rear base stabilizer, that, and your pull-up bar, well, at that point, you're pretty much, you know, you can probably do the lat pull-down cable piece by yourself. I mean, that wasn't difficult. But you'll, especially if you're going with a taller rack like I did, you'll need a short ladder so you can get up there and, you know, put the bolts in. And but yeah, I didn't film the entire assembly process just because I knew it was going to take some time, and I didn't want to, I just wanted to talk about it afterwards. So again, download the assembly manual for the Rep Fitness PR-4000. It's very straightforward, but again, I would recommend following that. This is just how I assembled it. And again, one important lesson learned for me, a mistake I made, was putting the rear base stabilizer out here when it was suggested that it needs to go there. So to my knowledge, this is set up exactly how it should be. It feels great. And again, I would definitely steer everybody towards the 6-post versus just the 4. Just because you get that extra stability. And you could put the weight storage horns in here if you wanted to store stuff. I'm not going to put weight storage horns there, but what I am going to do, I've got some of the pins, I think where they call them the T-bars or whatever, coming from Rep Fitness, so I can hang my my various accessories on there, because these are just sitting on the top of the dumbbell rack right now, which is not appropriate. But see, I'll be able to hang these up once those hooks arrive. So yeah, assembly is, if you're brave, you can do it by yourself. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I would highly recommend you having at least one person to help. I mean, and one person should be enough. But yeah, so that's the Rep Fitness PR-4000 assembly process. If you have any questions, comment below. And again, if you're shopping for the Rep Fitness Power Rack like I use, or any of the accessories, expand this video's description and then click the link there and you can find where to order it all online. And yeah, it's just a really, really nice, in my opinion, just a really nice setup. If you want that professional gym quality feel for your workouts at home and the versatility, and again, getting the Lat Pull-Down accessory is a no-brainer in my opinion. But when you add that, you've got tricep extensions, you've got down below, you've got the rowing, you've got curls with the cables. You do whatever workouts you want to do. I mean, this is just the enabler. It gives you the tools you need to do whatever workouts you need to do. So thanks for your viewership, and be sure to subscribe. And when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Y'all have a good day.
Hey y'all, iRick Sky here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.